What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Dirt X Show. This is a special episode because if you haven't already, you're going to see the West Virginia video. We actually just wrapped up watching it, and you're going to see a little bit of a director's cut because we have Truman here, the man behind the entire edit. And this is going to be cool. So, guys, if you haven't watched that video, go ahead, pause this, go back, watch the entire West Virginia movie, and then come back here and watch the director's cut. We'll give you our little bit of an after-action report. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, first off, how was the trip? Share your thoughts. Let us know how it was.
I mean, I thought it was epic. It was, I mean, because we had talked about that trip for a while. You brought it up to my attention saying, hey, we're going to go to Hatfield McCoy, shoot a little bit, make a couple videos. And I was just like, the first project we did together, I was just like, you know what, that was pretty sick. I had done some previous like side-by-side projects, some shots of that kind of stuff, and I was like, Hatfield McCoy, I had a good friend of mine go out there and he had a blast, you know, he was really hyping that up, and I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to get down there and check that out. So I was just like, let's go, I'm all for it. And then just, you know, got my my small kit of gear and said, all right, let's see.
Small kit consisting of 8 GoPro cameras, 2 drones, like
more drones, dude. Cameras, like Truman had one camera in the hands, one in a holster, like he's just ready to go.
Everywhere, dude. Every machine had a GoPro, like
it still wasn't enough. I thought I had everything. I thought from the first shoot, I was like, okay, I've learned from this experience. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna bring all this, and I should be good to go. I wish I doubled down and actually brought more, because it was still like the challenges of shooting this kind of content. It's a little tough. It's a little tough, like
especially when you're doing it the way we're doing it. We were just talking about the circumstances, right? So it was a bachelor party, right?
Which I had no idea that I thought it was more or less what we had shot the first time, which was like a small like kind of a planned event of like, because we brought in some veterans to like try to give them a taste of this, and it was all this like planned scripted content, and I thought it was going to be like that. And then I'm like, we're on the way down there, and I'm texting my fiance, and I'm like, I'm at a bachelor party right now. I'm like, she's
sorry, if you see something, I had no control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, it was a bachelor party for a really good buddy of ours, Greg. You know, we've been riding with Greg since day one.
Yeah, it was cool to just be along for the ride, and just capture moments like everybody getting together. I'm like, because I haven't had an event, I haven't done anything like that since high school. You know what I mean? As soon as I graduated high school, I moved out of my hometown and haven't seen any of my buddies who were exactly like that. I haven't seen them since. So I don't know, it just felt like being home and just seeing, you know, all the guys just having the best time together. I was like, this is pretty cool.
And we should tell the people, like, we went back and forth for a while on the vibe and what we wanted the video to show and to be like. Because at first, like, if you guys are on YouTube, you've seen the BJ Baldwin, the recoils, you've seen Jim Connor, you've seen these highly produced videos. And we were talking for a while about maybe doing something like that, but then also we're like, hey, there's a massive crew of people here. You know, this might not be the event or the situation to do that type of recording or filming. And so we were just like, you know what, let's film everything. Let's just see what happens. And you know, on the phone a little while ago, you had mentioned something about like the old skateboarding videos, you know, of just like people getting together, you know, and I feel like we don't see a whole lot of that anymore. You know, we don't see those videos of just guys just carefree, shooting the shit, having fun, sharing the laughs, you know, working on the machines and just capturing the entire experience, which I feel like this video does.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like you said, when I was trying to figure out like what am I going to do with all this footage, I was looking at some referencing like videos of, you know, other side-by-side content and seeing what other people were up to, and it was a lot of like tech reviews. You know, they'd put together maybe like a 5-minute little video of them doing like a challenge or something like that. Yeah. And I didn't really see anything that really fit the vibe of the content we'd shot. So I was just kind of reminiscing back of like in middle school watching these skateboarding these documentaries of these guys just kind of getting together like, oh, wouldn't it be sick if we went out and, you know, tried this trick over here, and, you know, half, you know, that's like a quarter of the video is them pulling it off, but then the other rest of the video was them just like that adventure of like just trying to make it work. And that's kind of what this trip was, of just like There's a lot happened.
There's a
Dude,
lot.
well, I mean, like if you're from on the outside looking in, right, and you watch this video for the first time, you see it and you're like, wow, like this is a great video, like this is super produced, and you're right, it is. But keep in mind, like we said, this is Greg's bachelor party.
Yeah.
So like one thing that we talked about originally was, said, hey Greg, like we're gonna bring a camera guy with us. We're gonna film some shit. And he's like, okay, like that's awesome. Like absolutely, bring him along. He's like, but don't forget, like I don't wanna get sidetracked. Like if we're trying to ride, I don't wanna be distracted by filming. I don't wanna be waiting for, you know what I mean? It was one of those things where, we were the camera guy was tagging along kind of thing. Again, we didn't go out of our way to get any of this content. This is literally natural shit. This is exactly as it occurred. And that, I feel like that's what makes it so interesting. That's what makes it cool. I mean, keep in mind, like you watch some of those highly produced videos like the ones you talked about, and like you shut the camera off and you turn around and there's 50 people there. There's a set director, there's a whole film crew. Like every video you see here, every camera angle, the drone footage, the GoPro footage, it was just one guy running all of that shit simultaneously. And dude, so a couple things I want to bring up too. One thing that I got, like one comment that I got from everybody else, I think it might have actually been Greg. We were talking about it over the weekend. He's like, yeah, dude, the camera guy was like wicked cool. He's like, usually it's like some wicked weird dork like kind of camera guy, and like you don't know what to do. He's like, most guys that do that shit are just kind of weird. He's like, he was just like a dude. He hung out with us.
That's
and I was
good.
like,
I'm glad.
dude,
I'm glad the cover worked because I'm actually kind of a nerd and a weird guy. So
I mean, so that was a little bit of a snippet from it, and then I forgot what the second thing was because we're riffing. You started laughing. I got all screwed up, but.
Overall, no scripts, dude, and it was the perfect combination of. I think I posted on Instagram. It's the perfect combination of comedy and near-death experiences. It was just like, dude, so many laughs. Even like we were just watching it, before you got here, and Justin Rogers, another friend of ours, was watching it, and just to see the chuckles and the laughs of those funny moments was like, it was perfect.
Yeah, and I feel like that's missing.
Yes.
Like that's missing from videos in general, and side-by-side videos in particular. Like you said, you see a lot of how-to shit where it's a guy bolting something on. I mean, again, there's value there for sure. Yeah. Especially
it's
for the
piece
people.
Of
yeah.
the market, I guess.
And keep in mind, like if you guys are watching our videos, like this is strictly for entertainment.
Yep.
I mean, we're having fun. Like I said, none of this stuff is scripted. Somebody might swear in a video. Like, don't get bummed out. We're just dudes being dudes, guys hanging out, having a great time on a bachelor party, and we somehow managed to wrap it up into probably, like I said, the best video that we've ever shot. So, kudos to you, dude.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. I'm glad I guess it got that badge of honor being one of the top videos. I mean, I was getting pretty, like I said, I was a little nervous just because it's like I thought I was prepared to, like, I had a vision on how I wanted to shoot it, and like halfway into the trip I was like, okay, some of that's out the window. It's I gotta pivot and adapt. And
100%, because you never know really until I guess you're out there on the trail getting the vibe, and then you're feeling out what's going on, and then you just realize, like, it was your first time meeting these guys, but I'm laughing because I'm like, it's Dirt X and the Degenerates. You know what I mean? Like it's just these guys, man. That
just because somebody has a bald eagle pair of overalls and another guy has every derogatory freaking Biden shirt known to man, doesn't mean we're degenerates, dude.
That's what I'm fucking talking about. Woo!
It's funny though. I mean,
I love it. I mean, it's a special. I call it like a special culture, and I mean, like that's what I grew up with, and I was just like, it was just so great to be back in that zone. I had a blast just hanging out with all the guys, and like you said, the personalities, it's huge. I mean, that's what so I run, like, I do this for a living. The video production stuff. I had a lot of people come up to me, like I'll make them a commercial or something, and I'd be like, hey, I want to get more into YouTube, and I'm thinking I got all these list of videos and stuff like that. I'm like, that's great, you got the list of ideas down. One thing you absolutely need to just get comfortable with and practice with is really translating your personality and making sure it fits well on camera. Mm-hmm. Like, you can be who you are, but you got to be comfortable and you got to be willing to do it in front of a camera, which it changes. As soon as the camera starts recording, everybody, the people I work with, they change. They get, they kind of get inward a little bit, and they kind of close up, and they don't really do much. And it was great hanging out with these guys that did not give a damn.
The Jack Daniels helped. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely
the Jack
helped me
Daniels
too.
definitely helped.
But all the personalities, man, when the personalities get together right from the beginning, like it captures the from Tyler getting out of the car with his freaking shirts and his lunchbox of sandwiches that his mom made. Butter
it was in turkey or something.
It was
Is that
just,
what this worked?
It was just butter and turkey.
Eats a turkey and butter sandwich.
Oh my god, I didn't even know that.
You know,
dude,
I thought they were regular sandwiches, man.
No, dude.
That's
He's like, hey, you want a sandwich? I'm like, yeah. What is it? He's like, turkey and butter. I was like, what? Mustard? No, he's like turkey. No, my mother butters the bread for me and then puts turkey in.
I
I'm
ate
like,
one too.
Did you eat one?
Because I was starving.
I was like, dude, I'm all set.
We drove all through the night, and that all throughout the night.
That was rough getting down there.
That was actually the first big road trip we went on with side by sides that I didn't drive.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice. It was
cool.
Yeah. It was really helpful on the way back because I slept for like 8 hours straight because it was a long weekend.
Yeah.
Not a lot of sleep. But
So to break the video down, I mean, right off the beginning, I mean, you're getting personalities. You're getting everybody showing up. You're getting all the friends.
No. Not just personalities. You're also getting alter egos.
Alter egos, right?
Daryl Dutton.
Daryl.
Yeah.
Daryl Dutton. Yeah, his mother couldn't afford the syllables or the vowels between his name. Daryl. But yeah, so all the personalities, the alter egos, everything coming together, and it was just like, I thought the drone stuff of the area was really cool. You could see the water and just kind of where we were starting, and then it just captured the friends coming together for a trip. You got Kyle with the goggles and the helmet and everything. It was a lot of fun.
What about the race suits, dude?
The race suits came out later.
Did they? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I jumped ahead.
Yeah.
We're still on day one.
We're still packing up.
So so I mean, guys, when you're watching the beginning of the video, especially the riding part, it's important to kind of know that at that moment in time, we had been awake for well over 24 hours. We had been up all day, then drove all throughout the night, and rather than stopping and being like, yeah, let's take a nap, we were just like, no, we're gonna go jump in machines and we're gonna get on the trail. So I'm like, look, I'm watching the video, I'm like, I'm beat to hell. I'm so tired. Chris was saying that he's on the same pair of underwear, same pair of contacts, And so that first day, which is wild if you think about it, because we're driving these machines very fast through trails where you look down and there's an extreme, huge cliff, and we've all been awake for like 2 days. We're tired, and it's just like, you know what, dude, just send it.
Dude, everybody was so excited to get down there. Everybody was in such a rush to leave that we forgot half the shit we were supposed to take.
Yeah, tools and
which played a big part in a little bit later down the line.
A little bit. But
yeah, I mean, and then we just go off. I mean, do you have a favorite scene? I mean, you edited the entire thing.
And don't talk about the shit that didn't make it in the video, okay? That's all. Yeah. That's private stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's BTS, which that might be another whole hour video, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, and we can talk about it more when it comes to it. I love the tunnel stuff was my favorite. That experience was really cool.
We're all tunnel buddies now.
Yeah, yeah. You get real close with people when you got to crawl through some wet tunnels.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that was my favorite scene. But day one, I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like we touched down at the outpost. I'm like, okay, we're gonna just kind of slowly unload here. I'm gonna kind of get my bearings, get a feel for when I'm getting ready to shoot. I'll get a little bit of time to prep. But no, it was just like, all right, we're going out.
Touch and go.
Let's do it. All right, let's just see what happens. So yeah, I mean, and yeah, that first trail we hit, like you said, was not ready for that. I was looking down. I'm like, man, I guess I'll just accept whatever happens. But it's like, just that sheer drop off was insane. To just be on the passenger side and look down and be like, I think these guys know how to drive.
And the video doesn't do any justice.
No, and it never has. And when you figure out how to give that stuff justice in a video, you'll be the king because I mean, like you said, videos just don't do it justice. But one thing that I kept thinking about, because I'm a little screwed up here, is like you said, the whole entire time you're right on the line of death. And I'm not even exaggerating, dude. I'm talking like you go 5 feet off the edge, you're dropping 200 feet. Like you're landing on top of the trees. Like it's wild. And there's some stuff like that up where we are, right? But I think that where we are, it's a little more centrally located. And I feel like first responders kind of have their hands on it a little bit. Like up in New Hampshire, if you get hurt on a trail, they'll probably get a helicopter to you within a couple hours, I'm looking up there and I'm like, dude, I mean, I got this little
All right, no
tiny.
one's coming.
I got a little first aid kit, dude. It's like
Yeah.
no one's coming, dude. You get
Yeah.
hurt out here, man. You better get out of the woods before dark, before they fucking pull you into the hills or some
Yeah,
shit, dude.
yeah.
Exactly. It's just like all there is at the bottom of this hill is a trampoline and a pony. Like that's all there is. I'm just like, yeah, that's slim pickings.
Dude, Greg was saying the week after we had left, there was somebody he knew that did that with a four-wheeler, and the four-wheeler just went off the cliff into the abyss, never to be seen again. The guy left it. He called his insurance company and was like, yeah, thing's gone. You can't see it. And they couldn't get down to the ravine of where it was, so they just took off. So
Dude, luckily the guy wasn't on it. Well, we trusted you to take the video, right? And even though you were extremely prepared, a lot of stuff went wrong.
Dude, yeah.
So,
Any given moment, something was going
just so
on.
you know, if
Yeah.
I'm ever the guy driving, I did a lot of preparation, all right? But shit can still go wrong.
Exactly. I mean, just especially too, because like those trails, they're two-way trails for the most part, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like
Yeah.
we came across like
I mean, they're
around a
supposed to
corner,
be.
there's like a whole other squad of people, and I'm just like, oh damn, good thing everybody saw that coming or
Yeah.
was able to quickly stop and get over. But I'm thinking like you go over that and
You never wanna
nobody's
go,
prepared
You
and
never want to go first.
yeah.
And those ones, when you're letting people go, you have to move over a little bit, and now your tire's inches away from the drop off.
Right there.
And I think the one scene in the video that gives it some sort of justice is when we put the drone up and you follow the machine. I think it was my Pro XP that goes around. So like the drone was actually off the cliff, and you can see like, hey, the trail the trail goes all the way around, and then you just see a little bit of that drop off.
Yeah, a little bit of and you just see the treetops. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing. That was what because I really wanted to get
Treetops.
that angle of just showcasing like how crazy of a down drop it is. But like trying to get the drone in that area, it's tough. It's like if you go above the tree line and look down, you're not going to see anything.
Yeah.
If you go, so you got to be in there, and it's just like it's just this drop off and just all these trees scattered around, and it's just you're going to ping pong off of all that stuff. It was kind of nuts so I don't know. I got to get back down there and figure out, really assess the situation and be like, all right, how am I going to showcase this? Because it is crazy. Like I can't describe it. I can't showcase it through video. It's just, you got to go check it out really just to see how crazy of a environment that place is.
Yeah, and that was my second time there. So I had been there before a few years back. I don't think anybody else there had been there before. I think it was all their first time. And like people always ask you like, oh, what is it like? How does it compare to riding up here? And in a lot of ways it's similar, but in a lot of ways it's different too. I mean, we have some pretty sketchy stuff up by us, but I mean, 85% of the time down there, you're literally 12 inches away from being 200 feet down. I can't explain that, but
Yeah, at any moment in time, you can just go off that cliff and just to piggyback off what you said, like, we've gone off the trail in New Hampshire, and, it's little tree, stop. And you're like, okay, that was rough, but we're good. In West Virginia, there ain't no little trees stopping you. It's just, it's off the cliff. And maybe your machine will get caught up on a bigger tree that's on the, something like that. And maybe you don't have to go the entire way, but man, it is far. There was one part later in the video where you kind of look down. There was that trail where it's kind of sideways. And Greg asked everybody to get out of the machine. That, you showed down the hill a little bit, and that kind of gives it some sort of perspective. But even that wasn't as far. Like I feel like there were some like cliffs where you look over the edge and you don't see what's down there.
No, you can't see the bottom of it. It's endless. Yeah.
And those trees are not stopping that machine.
No.
Those trees are not big enough to stop that machine. They're like 8-inch, 6-inch trees. You would fold a lot of those on the way down. They might slow you down, but
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Those impacts, and then just
dude, people forget like there's no airbag.
Yep.
It's not like a car. Like you see a car roll down the road, you're like, oh my god, thank God everyone's okay. He walked away unscathed. And this thing, dude, you're in a box, a steel box. Hopefully you have one of those goofy helmets on, like some of the other guys. But and then what was day 2?
Day 2 was just trying to get to the tunnels.
Yeah,
That whole experience, which
Yeah.
I mean, a lot happened from A to B.
The waterfall scene was really cool.
The waterfalls. That's right.
I love the music. I loved like just the people smiling and the slow mo and the waterfall going. Dude, the music choice was perfect.
and that's the stuff that you can't fake.
Yeah.
And when you watch a lot of these super highly produced videos, it's like, okay, like I get it. It's cool. Yeah, nice, beautiful waterfall. But that's like sheer joy. That's real laughter.
Yeah.
Like we almost drowned Greg in the waterfall. and he ran away in his little shoes.
Yeah. It was just all that little stuff. I mean, that was great. I mean, that was like, it was at that point where I was just like, I kind of felt good about shooting the video. I was a little stressed because, again, I was like, we just drove all this way. I was trying to shoot some of the stuff. I was like, I don't know if I'm like really capturing what I really want to capture. And then we got to that waterfall, and just everybody just had a good time. Everyone checked it out. We got that group shot. And it was after that group shot, and when I was editing, especially with that song, I was just like,
I
had such a vibe. I was like, I'm feeling good.
That was a good vibe.
We need that still image.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get that. We got to put that up, like some of the other photos that we have around here. You guys might have seen them on the show before, showcasing some of the builds. We have to showcase that trip because, I mean, that's a photo that hopefully Greg can show his son one day. You know.
Yeah,
Greg
and now he's got a video too, which is sick.
That's epic, man.
That's the whole purpose of it, and that's kind of reason why I was just like so adamant about like having you come, because it's like it's going to be a cool trip, but man, like the difference, you know, if you did this 30, 40, 50 years ago, you go out on a trip with the guys, it's you have to tell the story. But we live in a time now where I can literally film it, or you know, we can film it, and I can show people, you know, 10, 20, 30 years from now, it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
And we can show people like, yeah, we don't have to tell a story. We can show you. And it's so cool.
I've told so many of those stories, and I feel like one, people don't believe you, and two, they don't really grasp the gravity of the situation, you know? Like, you can try to explain it, and, you know, I mean, again, if you're a part of it, you know. But if you're not a part of it, you don't really understand it. And I think you did a really great job just kind of capturing that and sharing that with people that don't have the balls to come on a trip like that. And also, I just realized, I think that we kind of found out a little bit of our niche. I think we have this little niche market where we just film bachelor parties.
Exactly, I'm totally down.
Literally.
Dude, coming off of the Miami trip.
We had Miami, we had Maine, we had, I mean,
Oh, I forgot about Maine. We've literally.
You guys didn't, I heard about the Miami trip that was like fresh off of.
Maine was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, Maine was good. And I mean, at that time, doing Maine and doing Miami, that was same thing. Bachelor party, hey, we don't want to like, you know, we don't want to ask people to go out of their way to get shots. We're just going to kind of flow and let it happen. And Brendan was, you know, hanging out the whole time, trying to do everything, trying to record everything, and edit everything.
Yeah, which it's tough. It's tough.
It is, It's tough to film and do everything. So, and that's another reason why I was just like, we got to bring Truman. You know, and I think eventually we're gonna run out of bachelor parties. You know, we're gonna have.
I don't know the amount of dudes I saw. I was just like, man, all right, there's a lot of parties to go around.
How many is? I mean, divorce is gonna be coming up.
Put it this way,
More bachelor parties.
With the friendship circle that we had, we might get to do the same guy twice.
But we were saying, like, I know I was talking to Greg, and we're like, you know, we got to do at least an annual trip, at least, you know. But I think, like I said, if this becomes a thing, you know, we'll do more.
And if there's anybody that owns a transport company,
that
wants to come along on a fun adventure with us, we will let you ride with us if you tow all of our machines down there, so I can just fly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be a good deal.
I mean, what else? I mean, let's talk about the big things. Like,
the waterfall. Yeah, I mean, that was obviously huge. Then we have the funny part where AJ almost blew the belt out of my machine.
Yep. AJ like, Daryl Dutton.
Oh, dude, we're literally sitting there, and someone's like, "Hey, can you move the machine?" So I start walking. I was like, "Oh, can I move it?" And I'm like, "All right." I look around. It's wide open. I mean, that part of the trail system is freaking 45 feet wide. Yeah. It's gravel. I'm like, what could possibly go wrong, right? So instead of backing the machine up, he like tried to move it off to the right-hand side, and the right front tire was in like a post that was sticking out of the ground like maybe yay high. And he didn't know it, but the tire's right on the post. So he gives it a little bit of gas, and he's like, oh, hell, this thing ain't moving. So he does what any normal human being would do, and he puts it to the floor. And then literally, I heard it, I smelled it, we turned around, it looked like the machine was on fire. And he's like, oh, my bad, dude, my bad. And I'm like, why? You know? And everyone's like, oh, dude, relax, just a belt, I'll buy you a new one. I said, it's not about buying a new one, it's $200. I could care less about $200 in that moment. All I care about is the fact that we're 2 hours up this freaking mountain and we don't have a belt. Typically, we always have a spare belt, but again, that was one of those things we missed on day one, where you got out of the truck, took a piss, and people are already driving their machines down the road. Everyone's in such a rush. So, and that's just something that's like totally avoidable. So again, he literally almost smoked my belt. I don't know how he didn't. I don't know. Did we change my belt?
I think we went the entire day. I think we did the next morning.
Yeah, the next morning you changed
before we left, just to be safe.
Yeah.
But I mean, we learned on day 2, right? We went to the tunnels. We learned what happens when you slip your belt, because our boy Brendan did it real quick. You know, it doesn't take much. You know,
no.
I mean, but I'll not that I want to defend you because I don't like to defend you that often, but
Yep.
Brendan's belt slippage was legitimate. You know, he was trying to crawl over some shit. He was hung up on a railroad tie. That shit's acceptable. That happens. When Daryl Dutton tries to move the machine 3 feet, I mean, dude, come on.
I mean, and that was just a prime example of like, oh, I need to be ready for anything, because like I saw that not really going down of like, oh, I'll move it for you, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the waterfall. He's just gonna move it. I didn't think anything of it. Like I was just like, this is a non-event that's about to occur, and what do you know, it just kind of turned into like a side quest. I'm like,
dude.
okay, great. This just kind of blew up, and now tensions are a little high, and I was just like, all right, well, I can't miss anything. Like from what I thought was just gonna be a simple, just move it over out of the way, turn into a bit.
Dude, always be filming.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's always something.
Yeah, so that was day 1, and then was day 2 Sophia's tunnels? Or was that day 3?
That was day 2.
Day 2?
Yeah, well, day 2, yeah, and Alex did his thing before Sophia Tunnels, right?
Yeah, that was on the way.
Yeah.
That was one of the things on the way over
when
there.
you watch the video, it's very evident that he rolled before the tunnels, because all you can see is Truman in the back of his machine looking through his spider web windshield, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't just take that thing off, but
Alex and the little defender that could.
And and one thing we forgot too, like, so I knew from going down to West Virginia before that trail systems are obviously massive. They have the Hatfield McCoy system, and then they also have what they call the outlaw trails, which aren't really marked. You know, you have to have a GPS that shows those trails or be from the area. So I kind of stressed that to everybody, and Greg kind of like reassured me, said, "Hey, don't worry about it. We got a guide." Because there are actual guys down there that you can pay for a tour guide.
Yeah.
They'll take you to the tunnels, you tell them where you want to go, and they'll show you the way, kind of thing, that are familiar with the area. It's usually like $20-$40 per machine, and the guy hangs out with you for the day. So leading up to it, this guy, Greg's coordinating everything with him, planning everything with him, and then we show up on day 1 and the dude bails. Like, hey, sorry, can't go. So that kind of screwed us up a little bit because, again, you know, you want to plan that stuff. You want to get ahead of it because there's so much riding out there and not all of it's marked. And then we're out there. We got no cell service. So at that point in time, it's like too late. Like, you know, the ship has sailed. If you were going to download maps onto your GPS or into your phone, you know, you would have done that before you left the house. So we were kind of piecing this whole thing together. And then we said, hey, like, let's try to make it to the tunnels. We knew where it was. We didn't know how to get there. But our buddy tow guy Dave had his GPS going, and he kind of was the ringleader bringing us over there. And it was hours, dude. It was a whole day. And I think it was probably, we were probably, 1-2 hours into the day when we were coming up that hill right past the coal mine. And that's when Alex rolled his machine over.
Yep.
If you guys watch the video, you'll see us come around the corner, and Alex's machine was on his side, and he come around the corner a little too hot. I think I said in the video, I said, "Did you zig when you should have zagged?" And he's just speechless. But
yeah, that definitely shook him up for a little bit because I mean, Daryl, like, you know,
Daryl
you
was
saw
gone.
him kind of tone it down a little bit.
Daryl went back to AJ.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and I mean, he's good. He's I think, what was it? He ended up going to the doctor or something like that after.
Did-
right,
oh,
when
did he?
came back. I think he was like, it was sprained or something. It was nothing was broken or whatever. But
He just rubbed some Vagisil on it. And kept going.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that was, you know, anytime someone rolls or something like that, like, unless it's like, I mean, if it's a slow roll, it's one thing, but like, we were cooking, man. So when in the video shows it perfectly how when we first come up, it's a cloud of dust, and then the cloud of dust clears, and then it's like, oh shit, that machine's on its side. And then obviously, you know, the video captures the suspense, but we're running towards the machine, and Alex, you know, crawls out of the windshield, and then, you know, AJ or Daryl comes out as well. And they're good, you know, thank God. Yeah. But, you know, and it stopped halfway down the hill too, which is good. I mean,
and that's like I just talked about. There's no airbags, right?
Yep.
So people are like, you know, like you just said, oh, you a slow speed roll, it's okay. Well, I mean, I've seen people break their wrists, break their hand.
Yeah.
But no, dude, shit goes wrong. I mean, fast.
Oh yeah.
Quick, and
No, I mean, like you said, it was just like a poof of dirt, and then you kind of clears, and somebody's on their side. That really brought it to me. I'm like, okay, this is real. Like you just never know.
And he did that on the best part of the trail. He did that with, I mean, there was still a slope there,
Yeah.
but I mean, you can see it in the video. We start winching the machine up, it gets up on the wheels, and it starts rolling down the hill. We're like, whoa, put it in park, put it in park.
Yeah.
But no, everybody was good.
Yeah.
And then we actually went back to, I walked back to my machine to grab a drink out of the cooler, and that's when I noticed that my trail hitch was leaking.
Yeah.
Jamie's like, what do you mean? I'm like, my trail hitch, it's leaking. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, look. Like, you could just see all dust, all dirt. The machine's brown, but that one area right below the transmission there was wet, obviously. So everyone's like, oh, what's the matter with it? Let's take a look at it. And if you know side by sides, those Rangers in particular, like they have a tendency of literally grenading the transmission. I knew instantly. I'm like, as I'm mixing my drink, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, this machine's done. Like,
done.
There's no way. There's no coming back from this one. Like, I'm gonna have to jump in with somebody else. So we actually were able to stash the machine locally. We went back to it was like a coal mine, and we found a guard post, like where they let people in and out. And I asked the guy, I said, hey, is it okay if we leave this parked here? Probably won't be back till, I don't know, midnight. And at that point, it was like 10, 11 in the morning, Yep. And the guy's like, midnight. He's like looking at me weird, but I just know how this shit goes.
Yeah.
So we were able to leave it there, and we kind of continued on our journey. And ultimately, we did come back later on, and we did pick the machine up with the trailer, but that wasn't until we broke the other Ranger too. So quite the experience.
Yeah.
Quite the experience.
So we'll get to the second Ranger breaking, but before that was the tunnels, Sophia's tunnels, right?
No.
Wild. You don't see anything like that obviously around here. Were they old coal mines or something like that?
Yeah.
Or railroad tracks? I think technically they were massive, so they must be using that for that type of stuff.
Moving coal or whatever. Cars.
Yeah.
Big coal area. So when you're in those tunnels, I mean, obviously there's water. The water is deep, but then you're looking up at, and you captured it too in the video. You're looking up at the the wood that's rotted and fallen in the middle of the tunnel, and we're actually crawling over what used to be the roof of this tunnel. And you're like, something about, I mean, sketchy, like 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah. And I'm thinking, like, especially these things are loud. I mean, like, I wasn't like a big thought, but I'm like, feels like just ripping on it, you get some reverb or something, some other shit can just cave in, and that's it. You're gone.
Well, so last time I went to West Virginia, I didn't make it to the tunnels. My buddies did. And they were telling me, they were like, dude, we got to one side and you could not get out the other side. Like, there was too much water, and like there was marks where like the people's cages were like hitting the top of the tunnel. Like, So anyway, so we get there and we stop out front before we go in, and there was a big group of people out there, some lady and her husband, and they're like, hey, don't go in there, like you can't get out the other side, it's too steep. And I instantly started thinking to that. I'm like, oh yeah, like my buddy Ryan told me one time that they couldn't get out the other side. I'm like, maybe you can't get out the other side, So naturally, we turned around and we went back. I think it was more like, what the hell is she talking about? We're going to get out the other side of that tunnel.
Again, Dirt X and the degenerates.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you tell us we can't do something, it's going to happen. Even if we had to go in there and dig it out, dude, we were going to get out the other side of that tunnel. So, and we got a pretty good camera shot. That's when we told you to jump up in the back. You got in the back of the Defender, and that's when we saw the cracked windshield.
Yep.
I literally just got the video of you crawling into the bed of this machine with the camera, and like you can kind of see in the background, like, Daryl Dutton's hat and just a windshield. I'm like, dude, I could not look through that thing all
the
day.
blacked out tunnel. Good luck. We'll see you, buddy.
But so we ended up making it through. Yep. We made it,
no problem.
No, dude.
It was a breeze for you guys. I couldn't believe it.
We definitely got a little wet, and it was a little steep coming out the other end. That's where Brennan slipped his belt a little bit. It wasn't ideal, but I mean, impossible is kind of a weird word to use.
Yeah.
And then, so a couple of us make it through, and then we made the call back to the guys on the other side of the tunnel, like, hey, come through, you'll get through the other side. And everyone's like, I called naturally, so they think I'm full of shit. Yeah. They like think that we're like stuck, and I'm trying to lure them into it. So they're like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure? I'm like, dude, we're here. Either you're coming or you're not coming. It's cool. So that's when everybody else came through, and we didn't really get too wet because we had the full cabin closure. We were in the Ranger. Greg's Ranger at this point. And I mean, you get some water through the doors, through the seals, but it wasn't anything crazy, And then you got somebody like Tyler coming through in that low Can-Am, dude. Yep. That may or may not have been a rental machine. That may or may not have been outside of the designated rental area. But, dude, he got soaked, and it was a good time, though. The tunnels are definitely... I'm glad we saw him because, again, I missed them the first time I went down there. Definitely a destination spot.
And then eventually, talk about... Because you were there for it. Talk about the Dodge, the Dakota. Right, that guy.
Dude, you weren't there.
I was not. No.
Dude, so it was at this point in the trip that Brennan gave up.
Well, so I'll explain it then. So the belt.
Yeah.
So my belt.
This is not
was
in the
smoked.
video.
My belt was smoked, and then I had an extra belt. The extra belt that I had was was the original belt on the machine. It was not a brand new belt. It was a used belt, and I switched it because it was giving me problems. So that belt probably I wasn't gonna risk it. I was like, hey, I'm hours away from our camp, and I'm on a belt that's used and probably not good. It probably has a couple thousand miles on it. And I'm like, I'm just going to quit while I'm ahead. And Chris and I went home and took the road back. And but anyways, that was my reasoning for it. So
we had more belts, dude. There's always a belt. There's always a belt. Oh, you just leave the machine.
Yeah,
That's another T-shirt
I was gonna
right
say
there.
the only other Pro XP was the one that went with me, but no, Toe Guy Dave.
Wasn't, dude. Toe Guy Dave was not going back.
No.
Dude, they wanted to ride, dude. The main
Yeah.
boys, they went down there for an adventure. So
Yeah.
No, Chris went back.
yeah. So you guys went home for whatever reason, and we continued on the trip, and we continued that loop. It really wasn't that bad. Like when you guys turned around, that trail actually did come back around. It looped.
Yeah,
it was a
that
good
was
trail.
the fun part. Honestly, that's where it got fun. Like
Yeah.
a little bit of mud, a little bit of crawling, some spaces to just chill out. Like that was a great loop. That was a highlight of just doing that and going through the tunnel. I was like, this is cool.
Keep rubbing it in.
Yeah. I mean, you missed it. It was
good.
okay. It was all
That's
good.
That's why you never quit early.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
No, endeavor to persevere is the theme of this video, dude.
Yes, dude.
The amount of times we had to stop, fix something, and every time like you guys were in the middle of fixing something, like that scene where we're trying to get up that hill, Greg's
Dude,
machine breaks down again. It's you guys had to manually lift up the side by side. That was
Chaos.
insane. I thought this was going to be the breaking point. I was like, there's no way we're going to keep going.
So you
after
were there
this.
for that, right?
Yeah.
So that must have happened before the
was
tunnels?
before,
yeah.
Before the tunnels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
was-
totally forgot. That was like the best part of the whole
The
trip.
trucks
Yeah.
going by and
Dude,
stuff.
so we're going, it said there was a sign that said like 12 or 13% grade,
Yeah.
which 12 or 13% doesn't sound like a big number. But when you're talking slope, when you're talking, dude,
Adds up.
that was a steep incline, dude. Like the Ranger was hurting. We had 5 dudes piled in that thing, dude. And it was doing 20 miles an hour to the floor, dude. That's when we got all the good footage of all the trucks going by. Dude, let me tell you something. When you're driving through those mountains on that 12% grade, you got to be on edge the whole time. Like later on in the night, we were driving back in the dark, and I'm like, hey, dude, like I'm gonna keep an eye out behind us, because if a truck comes down this hill with no brakes, dude, like you're not stopping.
No.
Those dudes are ripping up, down. I mean, that is, imagine a freaking, again, I'm not a truck guy. This is another joke we have, because some of the guys there own trucking companies, and the whole trip, dude, when you hang out with excavation guys or like trucking guys, the whole time, the whole drive down, they're like, oh wow, see that 377 over there? Oh yeah, wow. And they're like this the whole time. I'm like,
driving
I'm like, can we not talk about dirt? Nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares. Just, you know, they're trying to tell, that'd be a really good hill. You cut into that hill, you can pull all the rocks out of it and sell them on eBay. I'm like, dude, stop it.
Yeah.
So now you got all the trucking guys like, holy shit, that's a D7 coming down the hill. I'm like, it means nothing to me. All I know is that if the brakes fail on that truck, someone's dying or everyone's dying.
Yeah.
So we got a kick out of some people though, dude. I don't know if you saw it, but in the video, the guys that were over there, freaking dude, people are blowing their horns. We got guys Jake breaking, dude. We ended up, like you said, we had to get the sway bar links off the machine, and we ultimately ended up lifting the machine up, dude. So that's actually common side-by-side practice.
Is it really?
If you've never been, dude. But usually it's like 2-3 guys like trying to flip, like hold Brennan's machine up. Yeah. Dude, that Ranger is heavy.
Yeah.
That Ranger is heavy. They had like 8 guys on that machine, dude.
I mean, you could tell by the video.
Yeah.
Everyone's screaming at each other, going nuts. It was just chaos, just pure
Dude,
chaos.
It was painful to watch.
But what
Yeah.
people don't understand is that like you have to get the machine up to a point where it almost balances.
Yeah.
And
Like
we
we didn't have it up high enough.
We know that, but it was just more so, again, just a bunch of guys just being guys and just freaking going nuts.
Trying to muscle it. There was like 8 of us on it.
Yeah.
Too.
You've seen us do it before in the videos where we actually get to the balance point, that sweet spot. But yeah, this video was just guys being guys, you know?
On the side of the road.
Yeah. But you made it work. You did
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Dude, we always do.
continued onward. I was just
We always do.
You have to. You have to. I mean, like, what's the plan B in that situation that doesn't
Nothing.
work? There's
dude.
nothing.
There's nothing. You're hours and hours away. There's absolutely nothing. So
No one's gonna have any of the tools really or backups to be. You know, no one's gonna drive up and be like, oh yeah, I got that.
you didn't. You
Unless-
don't think.
You
You
don't
don't
think
think that that's
gonna
gonna happen. Fast forward.
Yeah.
Fast forward. We get to the tunnels. Have a great time. We leave the tunnels. We're heading back, and Greg's machine was making a weird noise, but you know I did what every good friend does in that situation. He's like, "You hear that?" I'm like, "No." Because if you say yes, I hear it, dude, then you stop, and he's like, "Oh, we should check it out," and I'm like, "You probably don't want to check it out."
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened last time we checked it out? It was a shit show. So, anyway, so we turn off the road back onto, like, we're on the asphalt, we're going down a road. We turn back on the trail, and Tyler's screaming, yelling, doing what Tyler does. If you guys don't know Tyler, which obviously you do, but people watching the video might not. Tyler likes to point out everything that's wrong with everything that you own. Like Tyler nitpick. Like if you're driving your truck and you need new tires, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
He'll take one look at it and be like, oh wow, huh? Oh wow, these tires are beat. Like, oh Jesus Christ, you're gonna slide off the road and die. Oh, you get a scratch, brand new car or something. Oh hey, oh wow, what happened here? Oh, that's
brand new.
Oh, that's true. The paint. Oh yeah, there's no way that's gonna come out. He has to tell you if something's broken or something's up. He has to let you know, and he just rubs it in, and he'll say the same thing 3 times, especially after a few Miller Lights. So he's flipping out. We're like, what's up? He's like, every time you drive, your engine goes like this. Like every time you get on it, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, look. So I'm watching the machine. So Greg again puts the machine in drive, drives forward, and you see the whole thing. And I'm like, you know something? I know exactly what that is because I've been here before. I said, you have a broken motor mount somewhere. And he's like, what do you mean? And mind you, it's dark at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. I don't even know.
It's getting late.
It was
like
late.
8 or
It
9
was
o'clock.
It was dark. So we're looking at it, and there's one engine / transmission mount all the way in the back. You can clearly see that when it's visible. And I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to inspect it for cracks because those mounts have a tendency of breaking, but it's like a hairline crack. You don't see it until you hit the gas, and there's a little bit of flex, and it kind of opens up. The crack will open up, and you can see it. So it wasn't that one. Greg had some weird mud guards on the fender well of the machine to kind of keep mud from getting slung up in there, so you couldn't see the mounts at the front. But ultimately, we look at them, and we found the passenger side engine mount. It was just hanging. So we're like, oh, wow, like the bolt fell out, you know? So we're hanging, we're shooting the shit, we're trying to figure out what's going on. All of a sudden, this piece of shit Dodge Dakota comes driving down this dirt road. And it's just 2 bub juckets, dude, like Westford, born, raised, their cousins, their uncle, their mother, which is the same person, all grew up in that town, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he like drives out wicked slow. I look over at him, I'm like, what's this guy doing? He's just looking at us. All of a sudden, you hear the thing. Dude, he just starts doing a burnout.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this guy's doing a burnout for no reason, dude. To the wood. All you can hear is the lifters, dude, ready to, dude, the motor's ready to grenade.
Yeah.
Like, for us, that's something we would take the demolition derby up here. For him, that was like his family car.
Yeah, that's his commuter.
Beating the hell out of it. And I'm like, what? I mean, it's cool. Everyone's got their phones out. Everyone's cheering him on. I'm like, okay, cool. Guy did a burnout, right? Drives down the road. 2 seconds later, comes back. Hey, what's up, y'all? Starts talking to us, and one of the we're like, oh yeah, hey, we're missing a bolt, so on and so forth. One of the guys is like, I think we got a bolt back at our place. So
you can kind of see it out in the distance.
Yeah,
you can see just like a little shimmer of a window with a light.
Yeah,
and
just
kind
a
of
fire
some
going.
stuff in the front.
Oh,
yeah.
dude. So he's like, all right. So one of the guys from Maine jumps in the back of his truck. I'm like, whoa, where you going?
Go. Yeah.
He's like, oh, we're gonna go up there. We're gonna go find a bolt and come back. I'm like, dude, you realize that this is how every horror movie starts, right? Just like this.
Yep.
Oh no, it's fine. So he gets to the truck, and the piece of shit Dodge, all clapped out, disappears up on the mountain, and everyone's like, oh, where are they going? Oh, we're gonna go get a bolt. I'm like, no, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's gone.
He's not coming back.
You hear like this screeching in the woods.
Oh,
like you hear
dude.
these crazy noises coming out of nowhere, and you're like,
he's dead.
Gone.
He's dead.
Yeah.
And then Kyle's, I think it was Kyle's like, well, we just freed up one more seat in the machine. So
he made it back.
So
Didn't think it was gonna
we're
happen.
waiting, and we were able to actually we pulled the engine mount off, the engine mount itself, when we were looking at it or whatever. And there's a bar that goes across the front of the engine, and you could see that the bolt didn't fall out; it actually sheared. It snapped off. So we're like, dude, there's no way we're gonna be able to easy out this bolt on the side of the trail at whatever time it was. We don't have the stuff to do it. There's just no way it's gonna happen. So. And we're trying to kind of come to grips with the fact that we're just going to have to drive the machine home. I figured it'd be fine, but you know how it is. Greg just spent all this money on his machine, thousands and thousands of dollars fabricating this stuff. He didn't want to make it any worse by driving it.
Yeah.
So finally, we're like, dude, I'm like, listen, let's just ratchet strap this thing in. That way there's not a whole lot of flex, and we'll just take the road the whole way back. We'll maintain one speed versus go. I'm like, dude, we just drove it for God only knows how long broken in the woods, and it didn't break anymore, so let's just do it. So we're getting strapped up, we're getting geared up, and all of a sudden, here comes a guy from Maine, in the Bub Jucket's truck, and he's got just a pile of bolts in his hand. I'm like, wow, the guy really did have bolts. Okay, so he's not dead. So I'm like, all right, well maybe this is just a good guy, local guy up there in West Virginia. I was wrong. I didn't realize
was a motive.
He had ulterior motives. He didn't come down and do that burnout for nothing, and he didn't offer to help for nothing. He was slinging his moonshine. He's like, hey, you guys want to buy some moonshine? Dude, they have like just mason jars with moonshine, and he's like, how much? Oh, $100. And now everyone's like talking to each other, like seeing what they have for cash. I'm like, are we really buying moonshine off of this guy? I'm like, he probably bought that stuff at the local liquor store for like $8 a jar.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, the guy, dude, that was a payday for them. They sold
100%.
like $200 worth of moonshine. They probably didn't go to work for the rest of the week, dude.
Yeah. Oh, they were done. They're like, we got our quota, boys. We're done.
Dude, literally.
Thank God they came along because I didn't know what I was gonna do with this moonshine, but we got them.
Dude,
It was good.
It was good.
Apple pie moonshine.
you had some? I didn't. Dude, I'm not gonna drink moonshine from a stranger.
Apple pie moonshine was absolutely amazing. It was the best thing I've
And
ever
you lived
had.
to tell the tale.
It
so.
went down so smooth. It was the best thing.
So for the
Take a
record,
sip.
kids,
It's
if you're
good.
listening, never take candy from strangers, but it's okay to take alcohol from strangers.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was delicious. So,
Yeah. It was pretty good. Yeah. No. Just again, didn't think any. I thought the day was done. I was just like, all right, everybody's cooked. There's no way anything else is gonna happen. But then, what do you know? That they show up out of nowhere, and another bit shows up, and yeah. It luckily had a happy ending, because I didn't know where it was gonna go.
The
but-
night riding clip was so cool.
Yeah.
That was is his name Brandon Harlow? I think is B Harlow or something like that on Instagram. But he's the one with the Can-Am with the freaking Batcave cage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks like the freaking Batmobile. But that thing lit up with the purple rock lights going through at night. Like that video with that music was awesome.
It was
Absolutely
cool. I
loved
might
that
extend
clip.
that scene, honestly. I think I have a few other clips. I might make it longer. Like I saw, those clips were like kind of what I had of, side by side like
Yep.
that. I'll go see if I have more of that. But yeah, I didn't think it was going to be such a cool scene, but
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Just like again, the purple and the lights and the whips in the back, everything
Yeah.
lit up again with the music was awesome.
Yeah.
Love that scene.
Yeah, no, that was fun. And that was a crazy drive back just because we were on the road there for most of it, but then
An hour and 40 minutes.
yeah. But we ended up taking I don't think you guys went there. I guess it was just the main guys I was with. They ended up doing this, going on one of the trails.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was a trail we were on before or not, just because it was pitch black. I didn't see anything. The only thing I could see, it was crazy. Like I didn't even know we had this much elevation. But we were going up this trail, and I'm looking down. Again, you're looking straight down, and I'm just seeing just tiny little traffic or night lights, like street lights. And I'm just like, wow, we are thousands of feet up,
On top of a
nighttime. Everybody's just kind of like, everyone's exhausted. Again, it was just one of these situations of just like, it's just me, it's just us and one other guy. We're ripping through these trails at night.
Yeah.
And, we're getting some speed. Like, because the main dudes, like, they wanted to go on an adventure.
Oh, hell yeah.
And they were like, oh, we're going to take advantage of this. Yeah. And I was just in it for the ride. I was like, all right, well, whatever you guys want to do, let's go. And
Yeah,
they were just ripping.
We were on the radio, and we were just talking to those guys, and we're just like, hey, like, we're going to go slow, because we went, again, Greg's machine's broken. We're going, whatever, 25, 30. Like, we're just like, hey, go around us. Like, we're good. We're on the road. Worst case, if we break and you're not here, not a big deal. We'll get away back.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot one part, too. We did try to call a tow truck. Greg was trying to call a tow truck.
that's
dude.
right. Yeah.
Dude, you want to laugh, right? Call tow companies in West Virginia at 9 o'clock at night. That'll be a whole nother segment, whole nother episode.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of bummed I missed that ride up there with you guys. But it is what it is.
It's pretty crazy.
It's kind of like, it's almost like getting on an airplane. Like you get on an airplane, you put your seatbelt on, the safety shit comes on, and you're like, none of this means anything. Like
Yeah.
we're 30,000 feet in the air. If this plane hits the ground, the seatbelt is not going to help.
Exactly.
And
600 miles an hour.
And if I have to blow up that yellow vest with a straw, I'm probably gonna have a panic attack anyway and just sink to the bottom. If it comes down to that, that's like that's some next level shit.
Yeah.
But that's what it's like getting on the side by side as a passenger. You just get in, you put your seatbelt on, it gives you a little bit of a sense of comfort.
Yeah.
And you just accept your fate.
Yeah,
I could
exactly. And that's the
die
beautiful
and
part
my
when you
life's in someone's
do.
hands.
You just kind of just enjoy the ride, and like that's what that was the mindset. I was just like, this is kind of cool. Like if this is it, I had a good time. I had a great time.
And if copyright wasn't a thing, we would have put Freebird in the video.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Dude, there's so many songs that I really like. If copyright, we didn't have to worry about it. Like, I had a whole soundtrack of, like, this would be sick. But, we're playing by the rules. But I think the song choices worked out for the most part. But, it was a crazy night.
And that was only day 2.
Yeah, that was just day
So
2.
you would think at this point, with everyone's machines being broken, we got Greg's machine back to the house. Then we instantly jumped in the truck with the trailer and drove all the way back up the mountain to go get my Ranger, which we had left earlier in the day from blowing the transmission. So all the stuff we just talked about happened in one day.
Yeah.
So day 3, we wake up and I forget, do you know where we went on day 3?
We did those switchbacks. I don't know where. I guess Rockhouse Trails.
The downhill thing.
That's so. Dude. So now we're on the top of the mountain. That's where you guys see the wicked sick drone shot, where you flew over the top and we're all parked on the corner. You can see the switchbacks, and that kind of gives you just a little bit of an idea of the mountains, the elevation change, just kind of the whole scope of where we were.
That was pretty much wrapping up the riding and the trip for us. I know the guys from Maine stuck around one more day and they did their thing, but I mean, huge shout out to the Appalachian Outpost. That place is awesome. The bar, or like the broken axle.
Yeah.
Apple pie moonshine wings. It's their own barbecue sauce. Absolutely amazing. If I had to go back there, I'm craving their wings again.
Yeah.
Those are so good. But
Good people too.
Good people.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
The owners there,
absolutely.
the owners there were great.
Super accommodating.
I'd go back.
You know, I mean, I'll go on a limb and say that our group was probably a little rowdy. We probably said some ignorant shit,
Sorry.
but they were good sports about it. Nobody
Yeah.
threw us out. I think Brennan walked out of there with a giant cardboard cutout of Beth Dutton.
Yeah. She makes her appearance in the video.
I was
too. She
allowed.
makes a
I was
little
allowed
cameo.
to.
Yeah.
That's how you know Brennan's having a good time. 'cause
Yeah.
Brennan doesn't drink often. You know, and for the rare occasion that Brennan does drink, he doesn't always get drunk.
Yeah.
And I knew at that point, because that was the night that you guys left early when we were at Sophia's Tunnels. You guys went back early.
Yep.
You got to the bar
We
early.
went to the bar.
Yeah.
We stayed there.
We were coming in late. I was showering, looking out like the window from the freaking the loft, and I just see Brendan with a cup in his hand and the giant cardboard cutout. And I said something to somebody. I'm like, dude, when Brendan walks out of the bar with a drink and a giant cardboard lady, Brendan's having a good time.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, it was such a plot twist. I was like, good character arc. Because, because I didn't go out that night because I had so much footage to transfer and stuff. So I was just back out where we were staying. We were all at the
Everybody
same
was
place
banged
together.
up, though. There was one point. I don't even know who it was. I don't remember who it was, but they would tell me. What I thought had happened was, who was it? It was Kyle or Buzz was upstairs in the loft sleeping, and we were all in one of the kitchen areas, and one of them had a fishing pole, and they were casting.
God.
I thought it was like Buzz casting, but I don't think it was.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
That was horrible. That was hard. So we go in the cabin, and earlier in the day, we mentioned how Corey only made it out for one day.
Yep.
So Corey made it out for one day. It was either the second or the third day. Corey and Buzz didn't even go.
Yeah.
They were too banged up. They're like,
Yeah.
we're not going to ride. We're going to go fishing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you're going to go fishing? Buzz like, dude, we're going to go buy fishing poles up the street. So we get back, and I can hear music playing from somebody's cabin. I'm like, all right, this is where everybody's hanging out. I go in there, and these guys have 2 orange fishing rods, and they're casting the fishing rod across the living room up into the loft with a treble hook on it with a lure. I'm like, dude, that is so dangerous right now. So
cow.
they ended up hooking the blankets and they reeled Buzz's blankets off him, dude. And I don't even think he woke up. Like, I think that they went up there, they like pulled the hook out of the blanket and put it back on him.
It was so
And then
bad.
I'm like, God, that's not safe.
No.
So 5-10 minutes goes by, right? And all of a sudden we have the fishing rods back out again. But this time they got a Bud Light can taped to the fishing rod, dude, or tied to the fishing rod, and they're just casting Bud Light cans up on the loft, dude. And the whole time we're listening to like the most obnoxious like 80s rock, dude. We're listening to like Freebird, the whole entire freaking Top Gun, like the original Top Gun soundtrack, dude, blaring. I had videos. I'll be honest with you, I deleted a lot of them.
Yeah.
But everybody was banged up in the cabin, dude, and we're screaming at the top of our lungs. We're singing, we're dancing, and then somebody cast a fishing rod up and they like hit Buzz in the face or hit his or something with the beer can. Now Buzz is a big boy, and he sleeps with no shirt on. So he comes over to the edge of the loft, dude, and all you see is this big man, dude, screaming, and I'm just watching the color of his skin change and just getting redder and redder and redder. You guys are a bunch of idiots. Da, da, da. Why are you in my cabin? Why are you go in somebody else's cabin?
But that was the thing, is that they're all the same cabin, so
Yeah.
nobody knows like if
No, they're right.
you don't know whose cabin you're in. You're in someone's cabin.
Yeah.
And then Buzz goes back to sleep, right? And we played music loudly for like another 2 hours. And then it, for some reason, I don't know if Corey's buzz started wearing off or something, but 2 hours later, he's like turning the radio down. He's like, oh man, he's like, Buzz is sleeping. I'm like, Corey, he woke up 2 hours ago. I was like, this thing's been cranking. I said, he's not waking back up. He's like, yeah, I know, but he was mad. And I'm like, I know, but that was 2 hours ago.
Too little, too late. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that it was just me, Corey, and Chris, and we had finally had enough. And I'm like, all right, I gotta go outside and get some air. And the three of us walk out onto the porch, and you can see the sun coming over the top of the mountain. And I'm just like, oh my god, dude, what did we do?
Yeah.
It's like 6:30 in the
What
morning.
did we do?
Yeah.
What did we do? Like, we still had a whole day of riding ahead of us.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is going to be horrible. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. So I just went up. What I said, they're like, oh, you're not leaving, right? I'm like, no. I was like, I gotta take a shit. I was gonna be right back. So I went in my cabin and locked the door, dude. I went upstairs. I pulled the covers over my head, and it was like 30 minutes went by, and I'm like, oh my god, I did not sleep.
You
time
pull
to
the
go.
covers over your head, it's 2 seconds. Then you pull the covers up,
Yeah.
you get back up.
And I look out. I'm on the loft. I'm looking out the window, and there's Chris with a beer in his hand. Corey out there throwing a log on the fire.
Yep.
At this point, like where the roosters are going, dude, I'm like, this is gonna be a disaster. And it was.
Yeah.
But it was a great time, also.
Yeah.
That's
That-
it.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's
Awesome.
a wrap. So, guys,
Good time.
if you haven't watched the video yet, please go ahead, watch the video. Like Brendan said, like, comment, subscribe, because we're gonna do a whole lot more of these.
Yep.
If you guys are getting married, and
Hit us
you
up.
If you want us to bring you for a trip,
Yeah.
if the insurance company asks, we don't do that. Okay, it's all cash transactions, and we will show you guys a great time.
Yeah, have the bachelor party of a lifetime with us.
100%.
Yeah.
But
Guys,
without us.
Don't forget, guys, dirtexhibition.com. Get yourself some Dirt X merch. We got shirts, hats, hoodies, everything to support what it is that we're doing, and that helps the trips and the whole operation as well.
And we got a lot of new stuff, right?
We got some new stuff.
We have
new
the
drops
whole
coming.
Yeah,
Yep.
the summer line's out, man. We got a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
We have some new stuff in the works. So even if you guys have been to the website before and you bought some shit, just know that we got new shit.
Yep.
And the
we're
website
all-
looks good, by the way. I saw some of the updates. I'm like, whew. So
yeah.
my stuff's up there.
Some of
I'm
your
like,
stuff
that's
is
pretty
up there.
cool.
That's right.
Yeah,
Pretty
dude.
cool. It looks good. It looks,
No, it's awesome.
It looks
There's that.
And we're playing with shirts, guys. You know,
Yep.
this is a Ryko shirt, but Brennan's got a Dirt X shirt on. We bought some different blanks. People have said in the past, like, oh, it shrinks, it's tight fitting, and mostly because people that ride side by sides tend to be fat. So, we don't have. There's not supermodels out in side by sides.
Yeah.
So we got the big guy shirts now.
Yep.
Big guy
There's that.
shirts.
Yeah,
Guys, again, drop a like on the video. That helps us out a tremendous amount. If you guys are just hitting the like button, dropping some comments, also subscribe to the channel. And if you saw, again, our West Virginia video or this video, share it. Help us get this out there, because we're doing this for you guys, and we were trying to bring some entertaining content for you guys that's different than everything else that's out there.
100%. And the only way we can do that, guys, like you said, is if you share it.
Yep.
You know, I mean, this isn't some big, huge corporation, some company. We're not spending thousands of dollars just to get our video to pop up in front of you guys. The only way that we can grow and continue to share this type of stuff is if you guys help us. And if you got value out of it, if you thought it was cool, if you liked it, do us a favor. Share the video. Tell a friend.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Which that builds the best community, and I feel like the community you guys are building here is awesome.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
you.
Had some fun. So
All right. We'll see you
Appreciate
guys.
it.
See you in the next one.